Welcome to the Soul Too Early Sports Card Podcast. Finally getting silenced for things we've said. That's Kai. I'm deleting 103. Fucking God, this intro's so hard. God damn it. I might leave these in. Nah, fuck that. Welcome to the Soul Too Early Sports Card Podcast. Finally getting silenced for things we've said. That's Kai. I'm deleting a bunch of different podcasts. That is the fourth time I've tried to do that intro. I kept on flubbing it. So I'm having a day. Kai, how the hell are you doing?
Doing good. That was quite the scene right there. Fifth try, the charm.
It was bad. That is the first time I've really, truly flubbed the intro. Thankfully, these are not live. If they were, we would have gotten in a lot more trouble a lot sooner. So it's 60. Actually, fun fact, Kai and audience members who are listening or watching on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, whatever, we just hit 10,000 streams total on Spotify and Apple, which is really
nice.
Impressive. Yeah, I was shocked to see that this morning. Thank you guys for watching or listening over the past year plus, give or take. We're actually ranking in Chartables, which is a source of information for podcasts to see how they're performing. We, as of today and recording, are number 154 in the US for hobby, which is really cool. We're probably not going to keep that ranking for long, hence my name that I could not get out correctly. Haha, that's what she said, I guess. I don't know, man. But this is such an interesting time in the sports card world. Last week we had Jordan on. That was such a great conversation. We were going to try and have a guest on who was at the Macau show. I'm forgetting the full name of it. It is what it is. Just due to scheduling conflicts and, coming home from across the world. We're going to try to have someone on next week. I know with Christmas and the holidays coming up, it might be difficult. So that conversation may have to wait. It might be like a special edition episode. It might just be like a short little thing. We'll figure that out. But from everything I saw, and I haven't seen a lot of YouTube content come out yet, but a lot of Instagram posts and stories, Kai, this show looked fucking amazing.
Do you think that was because there were just a lot of collectors there that typically aren't at United States shows, or do you think people just kind of brought out stuff they might have been putting away for a while?
I think the people who financially traveled to the show and had the ability to do so made it like the national. Like the quality of cards that I saw. I mean, obviously, once again, you're always going to emphasize the crazy amount of high-end basketball, which is not shocking, or football. I didn't see a ton of baseball in the post other than maybe a couple of Otanis. I didn't look super duper close yet. But there was a distinct high-end basketball, just volume of cards available. And I think the collectors who went there from the US really emphasized, hey, this is another national to me. Let me go all out here. I don't know if anyone had really major successes or failures or would want to talk about that type of stuff from a numbers perspective, but it looked incredible. I'd be very curious to see if dealers from Macau or from Asia in general who did travel to that show who are not based in the US, what their experiences were like. Was there any language barriers or cultural differences or anything that could have impacted deals? I'm very interested in seeing what type of content comes out over the next handful of days. I'm not really looking too closely yet, but hopefully by the next time we record, any influencer, any content creator who did travel to the Macau show puts out 3, 4, 5, 6 videos I can binge watch instead of doing work.
I know you weren't there. Do you know if size-wise it was comparable to a national, or was it a normal show size?
I can check. I'm not really sure. I can do a quick little Google search and see what the size of the show was.
I didn't know if it was more of that is the big show there and it's massive, or it's just so many collectors came to a normal size show that it made it so good.
So let me see if I can find the floor plan. I'm actually on their website right now.
Can you read it?
It is in English.
Oh
No, the
wow.
site is in English. It looks fairly large without being able to distinctly tell. There is literally a floor plan without. There's no measurements to it. I believe it was in a convention center. I'd be lying to you if I had an exact piece of information. My guesstimate, just purely on what I would imagine the show being like, would be probably comparable to a Dallas card show size, maybe a third of the size to three-quarters of the size. Obviously, there's no way of me exactly knowing.
Yeah.
And that's part of the questions of like, hey, what vendors were set up, what card companies or businesses were set up, all these like interesting questions I really want to learn more about. Because obviously like the Instagram reels and the stories and the shorts, whatever else, only show so much. So I really am interested in seeing more about it. I do know there was a lot of people experiencing FOMO from it, fear of missing out. From what I saw, it's going to be a yearly show. Maybe not always in this location, maybe not always there, but this is worth keeping in mind. I don't think you and I are in the financial ballpark where the show makes sense for us, nor 99.98% of people who listen to this podcast. Because I can only imagine the cost of traveling there and staying there and being comfortable. Your break even number is probably going to be like $5,000 at least.
Yeah, because what's a flight there and back? Like 2,000 probably.
If not more, and that's like just getting on the plane. Like, you want to be comfortable,
Yeah.
and then a hotel, and then if you're gonna fly to China, it would probably be from New Jersey, 10 to 12 that 10 hours, probably 8 to 10, give or take. You can get a direct flight. If you can't, then even longer. You got to make it work your time. You probably want to travel a bit, or at least stay in the city an extra day or two just to experience it. Like, it quickly adds up to, even before you get in there and try and make a deal for some cards to sell or even trade, like, that number gets really high very quickly. I mean, even for you have a point
No,
or
I was
no?
just gonna, yeah, I mean, because like you said, that's before you even factor in like making money on cards. You still have to get thousands just to break even on getting there compared to like if you drive. I mean, even a flight in the United States is typically a couple $100 unless you're doing first class like you, Bushi. But
Yeah, sorry, that's usually me. I don't like to fly. That's my personal thing, but you know what? That's fine. I mean, even now for a Dallas card show, I probably spend 1,500 to 1,750 all in, maybe up to $2,000 for everything: table space, showcases, flight, hotel. And I've always made money, thankfully, traveling to shows. I would not travel otherwise. But given the state of the economy and how people are spending right now, I'm not concerned for the January card show coming up because Dallas is the first major show of 2024. It's about a month away at the time of recording. I actually did look this up before. Dallas is first, and then Culture Collision, and I'm sure there's plenty of like small-ish shows, 50 to 150 tables that people will not fly to, but like could drive around that are going on right now. Hell, there was a show in Florida somewhere, like Black Friday weekend, like right after Thanksgiving. It was crazy that people like were traveling to it.
yeah, I didn't even know about that.
Listen, if you do this full time or you're not a family person, shout out Aaron Rodgers. You just might not. That might not be how you want to spend your Thanksgiving or time off. You might just want to go to a card show and hey, make some money if you can. I don't know who else will be there other than Aaron Rodgers, but you can figure it out.
I wonder if the average person who typically would travel to a card show is like almost starting to get like weeded out compared to like a mid to higher end dealer that's like consistent. I wonder if that like normal person who like goes to the bigger shows is starting to get kind of weeded out like money wise.
I think so. I mean, listen, there's no way to say this without being kind of a dickhead about it, so I'm just gonna say it. I think collectors like you and I, slash dealers, slash individuals in the sports car world are probably in that 1% of individuals Not like, oh, I'm so fucking rich, look at me flexing. It's just like, hey, the amount of money I put into this industry, the amount of money that I try to spend and accumulate and grow with is probably larger than the vast majority of
Not even
individuals.
money though, like time and like learning and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do look at this as a hobby, which is perfect. Like, listen, man, I wish I could. A lot of people do it very casually, but there's also plenty of individuals who will not travel 1,000 miles away for a card show for 3 days. And we are very fortunate. We are the very small minority. And I've looked at prices of things and I'm like, damn, this is expensive. Like, yeah, it's not unrealistic to travel because it financially still makes sense to, but hey, if prices went up 50% for flights and hotels and table costs and I broke even on a trip or I even lost money, I'd be like, wow, maybe I'd consider not going to every single Dallas card show. What's interesting though is Dallas sets the show calendar. Like I've started to look into my shows for next year, and I'm confirmed for Burbank in February and Dallas for January. I'm going to go to every Dallas card show I can, depending on their dates in May or June or July. I might be away. I'm getting married in June, so I'm not going to be there for one of the shows. I'll sell my spot, but otherwise, I expect to be on the road 9 to 10 weekends out of the year coming up. It's pretty crazy.
Do you anticipate doing anything? I mean, you might not know what it is yet, but outside of Dallas, Burbank, and Nashville this year?
The issue is I want to go to Chicago again for the spectacular, but Dallas and Chicago double booked the same weekend. That was Dallas's doing, so I'm going to go to the Dallas Card Show instead because it's a better show. I went to Nashville. I didn't go to Nashville last year. Actually, I went 2 years ago a couple times, and I liked it. My fiance does not like Nashville. She just didn't like the city. I personally don't like the venue that much. It's out of the way of everything. It's not super convenient or walkable. I can be convinced to go back there if like friends like Mikey's cards were there. Setting up at that show by yourself is brutal because you really are just kind of left alone. I would not feel comfortable trusting the people next to me to watch my stuff. I'd rather have like a friend there to set up with. I would consider shows on the East Coast. I'm not doing Atlanta this year. It's just the timing doesn't work for me. It's right after Dallas. I didn't like the Atlanta show the one time I went. It's just my personal opinion. And then I'm just curious to see what other shows kind of get started and going. Burbank is a can't miss. Dallas is generally a can't miss. I was actually texting EJ earlier today. I don't know what he's doing yet for 2024. If he is going to be working in the card industry, if he's going to be helping promote shows, but I'll go to anything he fucking sets up. I have complete faith in him to create a show from nothing if he chooses to, or build something up. I'm a definite yes for anything he puts his name behind and his branding behind because he crushes it.
Yeah, my thought was just like the state of how everything is, whether that's like money or the market, card market. Like, I just can't imagine there's going to be many new shows popping up.
No, dude, I was getting my taxes ready for 2023. My sales are down like 40 to 50% year over year. Not because I'm a bad salesman and like, oh no, but because prices really have changed. And no, I didn't go into financial ruin, but oh yeah, I would have liked to make more money this year. Oh, how fucking terrible. Or at least that's what I'm reporting. Hi, government. Hello, IRS. This is what I made. Hello. Legally. Of course. It'll be interesting to see. I think this is a time of year, obviously everyone says this, hobby expected to slow down, but like it really has grinded to a halt in a way. Where my main focus now is generally like, dude, like $100 to $500 cards, and I want to own nothing over like 2,500 to $3,000 right now.
Yeah, that 100 to 500 is just such a sweet spot. I mean, I think the thing is like you can get cards in that range, and it's just so hard to like aggregate all your sales and end up losing money in that range unless you're just dumb. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so tough. I mean, they're so easy to move. They're so liquid. They're affordable for the average collector. I mean, $100 isn't cheap, but like, for the average collector, I feel like it's way more affordable than a $2,000 Luca Silver 10 or whatever.
Yeah, I believe right now those are at like $1,500 last time I looked, which would not shock me. They were down to like $1,300. We are in a weird time, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. I do believe more optimism will start coming into the hobby around springtime. Realistically, as people start to sell off their Bowman Chrome, as I plan on doing. And you know what? Honestly, dude, right now a lot of my finances for card money, not real life, thankfully, because I have always tried to balance my expenses. A lot of my money is tied into NPB because stuff is either in grading or is in the process of getting returned back here. And when those players start to sign or when those cards start to come back, I have the ability to really sell off a bunch of what I have and then grow that back into maybe one or two larger cards if I feel like it. But it's just got to make sense right now. It's just a weird time.
Yeah. The NPB stuff's crazy. So many rumors of people getting posted now. People are starting to sign. It's crazy.
Dude, I'm the fucking best and worst influencer ever because first off, I don't want to be an influencer. But every time we have this conversation, every time that someone talks to me at NPB, I'm like, oh, I should buy. I'm like, no, fuck off, no, I want that. Like,
well, isn't it weird how I mean, I think this is weird. I don't know what your thoughts are, but essentially the box prices have kind of stayed the same throughout this entire way. Maybe give or take 10, 20, $30, but it seems like they've stayed relatively the same, even though the cards are doing so well and it's so obviously like easy to make money.
Hey Kai, hello there. Would you like a sponsored post while we talk about MPB?
It just makes no sense to me. Like, why are people not raising their prices?
I don't know. I actually have a source who's in Japan, who source is a friend of a friend, who went to a hobby shop there, and the boxes were $60 each. I don't know. I have no clue. One of our friends who is buying into NPB and learning more about it created a fucking group chat called NPB to the Moon, which is really just fucking funny. Because I kept on talking about NPB in our group chat. Sorry, everyone. I don't know, man. It's such a weird thing that me on a whim through a friend of mine learned about a potential way of opening a bunch of cards and having fun with it. And the box price still is $40 to $45 all in. And you can actually do pretty well, which is fucking just the funniest part of all of this.
Is it outlandish to say that a set of 4 of those boxes is one of, if not the best ways to spend money and make money in cards right now? Not trying to pump you up. I'm like literally just like stating.
This is where Kai is a sponsored professional actor.
For reference, I've never once touched an MPB box yet. I almost bought one live on the podcast, but I have not bought a single box ever. I'm just making a statement.
The funny thing is, too, is I probably have bought about 225 boxes, give or take, all in, since like May. Yeah. It's is that the best buy right now? Probably not, honestly. Like, you're gonna open it and be like, who the fuck are these people? But that's why you do research, you learn about things, you listen to how I've talked about it, or other people who are beginning to post about it, and then be like, this old too early podcast told me about that, you guys should listen. And that's, dude, I fucking do not want to be an influencer at all. I think it's stupid. Hobby fame means nothing to me. Let me put that out there. I don't give a fuck at all. It's just really funny that I somehow fell ass backwards into the funniest timeline where Yamamoto ends up being incredible, or at least the hype cycle started to grow for him. I've been buying the box since May, and Roki Sasaki, who I legitimately think is going to be incredible in a couple of years if he comes to MLB, when he comes to MLB. And then you have a hype cycle going for that. It's just, I can't believe
that's what I was going to say. Like, you have this whole rotation now where you can grade the Yamamotos, and who else is in there? Is there anyone else?
There's a few people.
For
The
like
guys
this
who are
year,
currently
though.
the guys who are currently in AMLB who are in Bowman Chrome NPB are Yoshida, who's on the Red
Yeah,
Sox, Yamamoto, who will likely sign with
Yamamoto.
the Yankees, Dodgers, Mets, Red Sox, or Giants. So a major market. Kodai Senga went to the Mets. I forget the other guy's name.
Is the other pitcher in it?
Fukujima is on the Orioles. He was quite bad though this past year.
What about the guy that's on Trevor Bauer's team?
Shoto's not in NPB
He's on it.
this
Okay.
year.
Well, I was
No,
gonna say, like, you have this wave now where you can so easily make money with the guys that are getting posted now, and then you're gonna make all your money and still have the cards of the guys in a year or two that are gonna get posted in 25, 26, 27, and it's just like the
I know.
boxes aren't going anywhere. I mean,
Whenever Roki gets posted, dude. And the funny thing is too is that I moved my Gold Refractor 10, my Murakami Orange. What else I moved? Oh my god. My Yamamoto Orange I moved too. I moved all the major hits that I've had right now, and I still have a ton of paper, chrome, some number parallels. There's a bunch of shit that like is probably going to be worthless forever. That's just like singing boxes of like just guys who will never make the MLB. But the guys who will likely come here in the hype cycle, I'll do fine on. We good.
do you have a rough projection of like what you think you'll make overall?
No idea. No fuck. I don't know when to get my stuff back. You got to remember too is that I've sent in, I think 3, maybe 4 bulk orders of cards to PSA.
Well,
If it's not,
if you've bought 220 boxes, you spent what, like 9, 10K?
let's do some quick math. Yeah, so if I bought 54 boxes, 54 sets of 4 boxes, paid 170 all in, give or take, $9,200.
Yeah.
Plus grading fees, a little over probably 11 grand I've spent right now, maybe 12 on all NPB, all in. And the Sasaki Gold I moved for 1,500 in trade. The Yamamoto and Murakami Oranges were 500 to 600 each. That's 20%, give or take.
How many
right now.
Yamamoto base do you think you hit overall?
I sent in an SGC order recently, like last week, for $9 a pop. Just paper. I sent in 75 of them.
What about the chromes? Rough
Some
idea?
amount. They're kind of a short print.
50?
I would
No.
50 probably over the.
Isn't that
4
crazy though?
box.
If half of those get a PSA 10, that's like 5K.
Is that more than 5K? Because Nick, New
They're
England
like
Sports.
$250, right?
Yeah. If I have 20 of them, the PSA 10, it's $4 grand, which would be more than halfway back to my break
That's what I'm
even.
saying. It's
Fucking
just
A, dude.
it's crazy.
I found the stupidest way to do things. And if I was a piece of shit, I'd be like, you won't believe what I found. I found a money glitch. Look at me. But I just fucking like, when I talk about it, I really like, I don't want people to buy it because I'm telling you to. I want people to buy it if they're interested in like, trying something new and either like, oh, this is fun. Oh, it's like, oh, I ripped this with my kid and like we enjoyed it. And I spent a third of the price on a hobby box of this versus like an American thing. It's Bowman Chrome. 98% of the people will never make the major leagues anyway. Who cares if it's American or Japanese? It's like, what? Who cares?
Do like it. So you've bought 50 something lots. I mean, I'm sure everyone else combines bought at least 50 lots.
Way more. Dude, one friend I know bought 19 and a half
yeah.
cases. Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, I'm trying to figure out how people aren't running out of the boxes yet.
Kai, fucking wonderful question. I have no idea.
Like, where are these coming from?
Someone is making a lot of money off my stupidity. That's all I will say.
Because I'm looking on StockX right now, and I mean, there's like 16, 17 lots listed right now for around that price range. And I mean, I know you've said when they sell out the next day, they typically restock them. So it's like, these people just have unlimited warehouses at NPB Bowman.
Someone's got to be so happy with me. It's so funny to me. And I could pull. Okay, so yeah, I just checked my StockX account. I have 54 orders, and my earliest one, hang on, January, February, March, April, May, June 16th, and I did that on purpose for comedic effect. The first box of NPB I bought was June 16th. Why?
That's crazy.
I fucking don't know how I've done this, Kai. It is the stupidest timeline.
Kind of want to actually buy some now.
You understand when this podcast comes out, like there's gonna be like 3 or 4 that just sell because we've talked about this for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's just so interesting to me.
So stupid, so dumb. And if you want to buy on StockX, make sure you click the description below. I'm kidding. They'll fucking never sponsor me. Are you kidding me? I'm stupid. They don't know my fucking money. I don't know, man. This is just a weird time in the world. I can actually segue us into a new conversation unless you want to keep on talking about this.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Okay. So I was talking to Nick, the War of Sports Cards. I believe his name is Nick. He's a good guy. I've watched his content before. I believe he's now doing cards full time. He's running his No Recent Comps auction. Seems like a very good guy. Not sponsored. Super pleasant individual. I enjoy talking to him whenever I have the chance to. He and I were talking actually today at Blood yesterday night, and we were discussing auction houses and comping cards and pricing. Obviously, one of the things he really is driving forward is the No Recent Comps auctions. Basically, cards that have not sold publicly in, I think it's like 6 months, maybe a year. And he like made a story post like, hey, like, do you guys buy on auction houses? Do you buy on eBay? Like, how do you procure your inventory? And I was having a conversation with him, and it was like, yeah, dude, like I've stopped buying on eBay, Alt, PWCC, Golden, whatever auction sites I'm forgetting, because people who are NPCs literally will go and be like, they'll go to Alt or Card Ladder and be like, oh yeah, the last comp is $1,000. Could you do $850? I'm like, dude, I'm that sale. That's why it's priced at $1,250. Like, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know who collects anymore. I mean, obviously everyone wants to try and flip and make money. I fall into that audience too, but I do enjoy collecting. I just bought 2 more game worn jerseys today. One might actually be sold, which is really fucking funny to me again as well. But like, I still collect things. I just collect jerseys instead of cards, because if I'm going to spend my personal money on items I want to own forever, a jersey's just objectively cooler, in my opinion. But I just don't know who either collects anymore or like is just so afraid to hold an item, which makes sense in today's market because everything seems to be crashing. That, yeah, if I'm going to buy stuff, man, or I'm going to pay with my own money, I'm going to make sure that it is not a card that comps on an auction house. I'm going to make sure it's something I buy privately and then I can sell for more money. Oh my God, what a thought, right? But you're almost setting yourself up for failure when you buy on auction houses or eBay, because everyone just runs to alt and cannot think critically for 3 seconds.
Yeah, I think what he's doing is a really cool idea. I just don't. I mean, you have the couple cards. I think he started with like 4 or 5 in his first one. I don't know how many he does now, but to me, that's not really like an auction. I don't know how you feel. Like 4 or 5 cards. I mean, it's a cool idea, but it just like doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, would you call it consignment then? Because I know that you and Joku did consignment a little bit, but like it wasn't recent. There was no recent comps. It was just like you were selling cards. For
it's a cool idea to like get rare cards like exposed and actually hopefully do well. It just doesn't really like ring the bell for me. Like, I just don't think you can really promote an auction that has 5 cards as an auction.
I mean, it's an interesting dynamic too, because obviously he's trying to grow a business, and I'm sure he's doing the best he can.
Yeah,
he's chosen a niche that is difficult, because the idea being, hey, we want to have cards that are rare, but how many cards now not sold in 6 months or a year?
I mean, he's obviously finding some, which is impressive, but
it is. But like, there's only a finite amount, because you know, if you look at someone like a DC Sports or Mike MC, for instance, they both have C in their name, they will run whatever they can and want to because, hey, they run a good service, people use them, people enjoy them, and they're growing their businesses. And it's awesome to see individuals like that. DC's services is great. Mike seems like a very nice guy. Whenever I've had the chance to talk to him, very pleasant. But it's just like they have no filter. They'll run whatever you want, assuming it like meets their guidelines or whatever. They'll pay you on their fees, and they do well. Nick has almost chosen the opposite route where he wants to have a very finite selected, maybe exclusive is the way to describe it, but I don't know how long that will continue. It's a weird dynamic.
I guess my point's more of like, what's the end goal here? Because I mean, you're not like running 5 cards at a time doesn't do anything for anyone. I don't think personally. Like, are you trying to build up to like get enough people looking at your auctions that you can find 15 at a time that haven't been ran recently? Are you trying to build like a normal auction and just kind of getting eyes by saying it's only cards that haven't sold lately? Like, what's the end goal is my question.
I mean, that's a great question. I actually invited him on the podcast to talk about this whenever. So we might repeat this conversation at some point in time. I don't know. I can't speak for it. The way I envision it is offering people the opportunity to own a card they actually want to collect. Because, dude, there's actual collectors out there for cards. I don't see them that often anymore, especially in our world of buying and selling and reflipping, and then Backyard or Repacker owns the card, then they run it in the repacks, and then it ends up back in the ecosystem. I don't know. I don't know who truly collects these individual cards anymore, but maybe that's just one way they can try and procure them. It's interesting.
Well, I think it would be really cool if it works out in some way, because if you think about it, like if you're a collector and you try to look through DC's auctions every night, I mean, you can't without seeing all the junk, basically. I mean, if you had some sort of auction or something, even PWCC and Golden's tough with so much junk now, but if you had a certain auction, either an eBay account or whatever it is, that kind of filtered what they took and only took stuff that real collectors would actually want, even if they've been ran in the last 6 months, I think you'd have a really good product. I would look at that every week if you had cool autographs, game used, refractor, like not just junk. I don't know. I would look at it personally every week.
Yeah, I think the issue you run into there then is people would give you cards, but then you have to run filler too, because it has to be advantageous for everyone. I mean, I can imagine that, oh, hey, Kai and Joku, when you guys are doing consignment, I have nice cards for you, but you're taking some junk too because I don't want to fucking list it. Yeah. And you know what? I did that to you guys several times because I'm a lazy piece of shit and I didn't want to list 200 cards. So you would run into instances where people would 100% just send you crap. And maybe that's ultimately the goal too, is to try and compete with DC and MC, but have like, you know, hey, this is our weekly auction that like just is cards that you've seen everywhere. But maybe every month we save up items and we do our golden type of golden or alt type auction where this is your recent comps and these are all unique, which would be cool. I can't speak to that. I'm not sure how that business would scale. I think you'd be kind of foolish to turn down any card or consignment because you would earn money for doing some work, but you know, I hope it goes well, and he obviously is, but it's unfortunately not black and white. There's a lot that goes into that. So I don't know if it would make sense for me, but that's the beauty of it, is there's a million ways of going in sports cards. You just have to apply yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird time right now. There were some questions that came in. I think they were kind of funny. I don't know if they were actually serious questions. Oh, they're not on my Instagram anymore. That's cool. I'm so prepared for these podcasts. One question that came in, though, that I do remember was from our friend Chris, was, hey, based on our podcast name, selling cards too early. Hey, Kai, have you ever sold a card too early?
Yeah.
Yeah. Same. I'm trying to think about... I'm trying to think about these, what cards it could be.
I've sold Acuna's too early. I've sold, ironically, Trae Young's a little bit too early, probably.
You did well in your NT, though, at least.
I did really well in a lot of Trae Young's, but I'd be surprised if anyone that's been doing this for 5 years has not sold a card too early.
I have moved a ton of inventory. Items that come to mind when I think of them is like a Mahomes NT booklet like 6. I actually think Jacob Flawless Gem Sports Cards owns that card, or at least a very similar one. I maybe moved that like $300-$400 in like 2017. Who knows? The issue, quote unquote, with me is that I live every day, like day by day, so I have a very short memory on purpose for these things, because good, bad, or otherwise, you start the next day at 0 and like all that nice shit I say. I don't know if I'm sure I fucked up. So I fucked up plenty of times, dude.
No, you're perfect. Come on.
Oh yeah, well that's true. Yeah, hello, I'm Mr. NPB. By the way, have you met me before? You should have. I'm flawless. I don't know. It's hard to say anymore these days, because I've gotten this question asked to me before on like the biggest flips I made, the biggest losses. Ironically enough, it was on Rob's podcast, Sports Card Therapist. RIP, I guess, because he's still not back yet from. I hope Rob makes an appearance back in sports cards at some point. It's been like a month, dude. Like what you
Is
did
it
was
really?
not
That's
right.
kind of crazy. Feels
It's
like
been a while. Maybe it was since the Chicago show. So yeah, it was about a month, maybe 3 weeks. I hope he comes back. Like, dude, what you did was not good, but obviously not the most serious thing in the world. Like, you can hope you're still collecting. I hope you want to come back to your podcast and your show, because you're doing good. Sucks, but maybe this self-imposed time out in a way is what he wanted or needed. I don't know. I can't say. I've not talked to him since like the day or two before his situation came out of the mega bidding stuff. I actually was asking him to either come on his podcast or be on ours. So oops, that would have been funny.
mega bidding just gets me every time.
It's just a funny phrase, dude. We take ourselves way too goddamn seriously. Like 50% to 60% seriously when you're not negotiating deals is probably the best world to be in. Like, if I'm negotiating a deal with you and like we're talking dollars and cents, I'm gonna be as serious as possible. Kind of a hard ass, aggressive. That's just my nature. But dude, podcasts like this, just hanging out, talking in our group chats, just bullshitting in general. 50% seriously is about all you need, because this is trading cards, dude. You're not teammates with LeBron James. You don't know Trey Young. You like
tell that to the people playing in the Culture Collision charity game.
What do you think is the highest level of competition those collectors could be in competitive game of basketball?
Like teenage AAU.
No, teenage AAU would beat the shit. If those kids are dunking, it's over for them. I'm going to say like 11-year-old travel basketball team.
Oh man.
Because those kids are at least going to be in shape, probably, because they're travel kids. I imagine they'd be in shape. AAU would fucking
wipe. Factor in like height though.
Sure, but like I'm trying to also account for like I can't imagine most kids at 11 can dunk. So
yeah. I would think like 14, 15, you probably start dunking.
I would say probably, I don't know. It's hard to say. You know, I'm not Josh Giddey. I'm not really talking to teenagers.
Yeah, I can dunk. I've been dunking since I was 12, you know.
Yeah.
I have a flip on the question we were talking about.
Go for it.
Have you ever sold a card like at the perfect time to where like it just completely crashed right after? You're like, shit, that was amazing.
Probably all the NPB stuff, dude. Anytime I've ever sold a card when a player makes their MLB debut, I sold a Gavin Sheets Superfractor Bowman Chrome 9.5 non-auto for $2,000. I got it for $200.
Have you ever done a deal at show where you move a card to someone and you're like, holy shit, I can't believe I just moved that for that?
Yep. That happens pretty often with me. Not because I'm aggressive on my pricing or like I'm overpriced, which is somewhat true, obviously, because sticker prices does not matter. It doesn't. It's just so I don't get lazy and like get asked the same card price 12 times. Yeah, any card I moved. I remember when I got the Fleer 9.5 MJ from Lane. Probably 2 months ago, give or take. I don't know when I got
It
that
was a
Fleer
little bit
9.5.
longer ago, right? No,
Maybe 2.5 months. I know we made an episode like I'm done playing games, and I'm still like playing games like in a different way. I bought that for what 27.5, and I moved it to Sasha for like 32.5. I was like, oh, this is sick. Like,
does Sasha do cards anymore?
Sasha does do cards, but he's just chilling. He's living his life. You know, he's obviously not really connected to social media these days, at least in the card world sense. I don't remember the last time I talked to him. It was probably during that deal because we made a smaller deal actually for something, maybe a month ago, 6 weeks ago, give or take. And I was like, hey man, like I'm happy to ship whenever. He's like, ah, bro, it's good. And like, just hold him for a bit. I'm like, okay. And then actually the last Dallas show, I was like, hey, you going to Dallas? He's like, yep, like just drop the cards off there. I'm like, okay. And then he texted me that he was not going and to give them to someone else who was in SoCal. So I hope Sasha's doing well. I hope he's just living his life and just chilling and just doing cards as he feels like it, because he just off the social media grind, which is awesome. Like, good for him.
Yeah, he's probably doing good.
There's very few people that I've interacted with constantly that I don't like. Sasha is a very nice person. He definitely could have continued to make content had he chosen to. I think he walked away at the right moment. I think that he continues to he's just doing his own thing, and he's just a very pleasant person to be around.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, back to this basketball question. I really don't think that card collectors could beat anything older than like an 11-year-old travel team.
Yeah.
Like, those kids start dunking, it's over.
I just don't get the point of this fucking basketball game. It's so dumb. I mean,
I get it now because it's for charity, and that's the one thing that like makes me not want to.
I'd rather just donate to a website if I'm being honest.
Fair, I know. I do think it's funny though that the one thing that makes it Ciblas versus Santiago was a very stupid battle. Dude, my God. For anyone who is not familiar with the Culture Corporation show, which is fine. It's done once a year in Atlanta. Prism God runs it. And I believe this is now the third year they've done it. Maybe the fourth year. They do a basketball game. It used to be on like a half court thing, I believe. Maybe it was always on a full court, but like obviously I never went to it. Last year they were doing their game, and Santiago Sports, Tyler, who is my local card shop, and I like Tyler a lot. So I'm not gonna shit on anyone here. I'm just telling the story to the best of my ability of remembering it. Either he gets hardly or gets a hard foul on him by Ciblas, or Ciblas
hard foul.
So someone gets fouled in like a somewhat aggressive way, and I believe Tyler throws the ball at Ciblas, or Ciblas throws the ball at Tyler, and like they start chirping. Non-moment, really non-moment. That probably happens in an NBA game 3 or 4 times a game, honestly. But somehow, some way, that has become like the battle, the hobby battle between these two individuals, and it's like, come on, like, really? Really, this is what we're doing. I don't know. Kai, you want to battle this out? You want to? Oh man, what could we do? Can I insult you in like ping pong or something?
We still gotta have our Smash.
Yeah, we got to do Super Smash Brothers too. Maybe that's how we settle this. Kai, you and I are gonna fight about something stupid, and then I'm gonna make sure that we incorporate Super Smash Brothers into an actual podcast episode.
Good. I can't wait to show everyone. I three stock you with Kirby.
You fucking wish you could 3-stock me, dude. I will bet you any amount of money that you have no shot to do that.
I don't think I can 3-stock you, but
yeah, exactly. That's my.
Yeah,
you fucking walk that back. But yeah, you fucking take your Wii controller and go home, bitch. But yeah, I mean, I think we're in a good spot. We've reached that point now where I could just start naming random players from the 2000s in the
Oh,
MLB.
here we go.
Dude,
Felix Jones.
Felix Jones is good. I'm gonna go with my fun one to always start with is like Miguel Cairo, just cause I think I've done that last time too.
Beanie Wells.
Ooh. Oh, Beanie Wells doing football too?
I'm doing everything you can imagine.
Oh god. All right, so a random player. Oh. Well, Brashad Perriman's like early 2010, so it doesn't really count. That's
Jared Saltalamacchia.
Jeremy Shockey's Jake Butt. Jake Butt's funny.
Mm.
I'm trying to think of like early 2000s running backs. Derek Mason. I think that was Derek Mason a wide receiver though? Fuck. Derek Ward. That's what I was thinking of.
He was a tight end. Derek Mason.
Derek Mason was not a tight end. Bullshit.
Promise you.
Derek Mason was not a tight end for the Ravens. Yeah, he was a wide receiver for the Ravens.
Nah, he converted.
And the Titans. He played for 15 years, 97 to 2011. He was good. Holy shit, he was actually really good.
No Sean Marino.
No Sean Marino. My brother played against him in high school, which is cool.
How'd he do?
Fact. He fucking did not tackle him well. My dad described him as gliding on the field, which is cool. I want to get a No Sean game worn jersey at some point. I've not seen one that's actually appropriately priced. I think there's one on eBay for like $1,000, which is not what I'm going to pay. But that would just be like a fun little like cool thing to own.
Ready? Fred Jackson.
Oh, dude, I love Fred Jackson.
He was one of my favorites.
CJ
Spiller.
Yep, CJ Spiller got traded.
Chris Ivory.
This is really sad that these are like guys in like their mid 30s who are now like fossils in the NFL. I mean, obviously they're not playing anymore.
Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis.
Dude, all right. The law firm is one of the best nicknames in sports. Sorry, it is.
Who'd you say?
I said DeMarco Murray, which
Good
is
one.
funny that he's kind of been forgotten in a way. Dude, just if you want to feel old, just go through running backs. Because like Todd Gurley's been retired now for 2 or 3 years. I think still leads the NFL in touchdowns since like his rookie year.
Really? That's crazy.
It's up there. He's either like now second or he still might be number one.
Wait,
Like,
I don't know who would have passed him.
The only person I can think of was like Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that's probably about it.
I don't know. All right, I think we're good here. We can definitely maybe we'll do one episode. Maybe we'll do a special episode of Sold Too Early where we just name guys from like the early.
First
2000s.
one who can't think of something loses.
We have to record Sold Too Late at some point.
Straight.
Actually, Ty, thank you for the idea. We have to record Sold Too Late with Joko at some point because we're going to do that monthly. Let's make a drinking game out of that. That sounds like fun.
45 minutes till someone dies or you can't name anyone.
Let me do some homework on this, and let me text Joku too because we have to do that. All right.
Tavares Jackson.
God damn it! All right, let me think of one more. Steven Jackson at that point.
Nah, weak.
All right,
that's too mainstream.
Steve Smith on
nah,
the
I need
Giants.
a non. Oh, okay. Good call. Good shout. You saved yourself there.
All right. Now I'm just going through Mario Manningham,
Todd Heap,
Ruben Randall, Trot Nixon. Well, Trot Nixon's that's baseball.
That's still a good shout.
All right, we're just gonna do this.
Gregory Polanco.
Well, he's still playing in Japan. Fun fact.
That's crazy.
I know. Brandon Laird, also playing in Japan.
That's a name.
Rafael Furcal.
Oh, good one.
This episode's like 20 minutes long. Dudes.
There's a Yankees catcher I'm trying to think of, and I can't remember who it is.
John Flaherty.
No, probably like 2012.
Francisco Cervelli.
No, he was on the Braves too. I would have known him.
Well, Brian McCann was there.
No,
but that's not.
There's one that I'm trying to think of in that area. Oh, don't cheat.
I'm gonna just check because now I want to see if I can give you hints.
I think there's one.
I don't think this is the guy you're thinking of, but let's see. Did he play for the Braves?
No, sorry, I meant Cervelli played for the Braves, so I would have said
Oh, I was gonna say, are you thinking of Chris Stewart? I'm like, who the fuck?
no.
That'd be a name.
Oh, fuck. I don't know.
It's not Russell Martin. He did not play for the
Yes,
Braves.
Russell.
Oh, what
Martin.
Russell Martin?
Yes, Russell Martin. That's who I was thinking.
Okay,
Of.
I was looking for Braves and Yankees.
No, Blue Jays and Yankees legend.
Yeah, he played for the Dodgers too.
Yep, and I forgot about that
Just
era.
saw that.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up because this is another episode. We'll do that eventually. All right, thank you guys for watching or listening. Next week, 2 hours of this content. Bye.
See ya.